The Premier League title is the pinnacle of every footballer, and it is a dream for every player who plays in England to lift the prestigious trophy at least once in their career. A lot of players have been able to live this dream, but there are some superstars who still haven't. For others though, that dream is dead in the water. In this video, we'll take a look at the 10 greatest players to never win the Premier League. And we start with Steven Gerrard. It didn't take long, just 18 years to be exact, for Steven Gerrard to become a regular in the Liverpool lineup. After a couple of seasons, the Englishman established himself in the Liverpool squad, making over 130 appearances over the following 4 seasons. The standout midfielder was able to play with Suarez, Xabi Alonso, Fernando Torres and Michael Owen during his time in Merseyside. Always excellent on the ball with terrific technique and never say die attitude, Gerrard became a cog in the Liverpool setup and a legend in the making. But unfortunately, due to Liverpool's 30-year league-winning hiatus, Gerrard never had the Champions tag along with his name during his time at the club. Despite his heroic 120-plus goals and assists, Gerrard would only come within touching distance thanks to a costly slip to Chelsea in the run-up to the title. It's a prime shame that having been named one of the best midfielders the league has ever seen, Gerrard never received the trophy his ability truly deserved. Gareth Bale seemed to have greatly increased his first piece of silverware since swapping from Spurs in North London to the sunny bath of perennial champions Real Madrid. While this move was a great one for his career overall, every chance of Bale ever winning the Premier League title was up in smoke for the legendary Welshman. Yes, Bale was a major driving force for the Spurs revolution, but that revolution was only going to last a little while. In fairness to him, there was only so much he could do to drive a club that's remained stuck in a trophyless cycle to this day. Starting his career at Southampton at just 16 years of age, Bale did enough to convince Tottenham of a £5 million investment in him. Both parties profited off the move, with Bale establishing himself as a Wales regular while scoring a stunning 17 goals in 22 games during his best ever run as a left-back turned winger. Eyebrows were raised when Spurs were willing to sell him to Madrid for a stunning fee in the excess of £85 million without bringing in a replacement. And the move proved a real blessing for Bale as he won the Champions League 3 times in a row, one of the few players to achieve that feat to this day. Another player who moved elsewhere for justifiable reasons is Luis Suarez. It's no surprise that with Liverpool having only finished in the top 2 twice in the last 18 years before his arrival, that Suarez had the slimmest chance of lifting the prestigious title. While his time at Liverpool was beyond special, with Suarez recording a remarkable 128 goal involvements in 133 games, Liverpool always fell short of that final push. Most painful of all was a narrow title loss in the campaign Gerrard gave the City the title with his costly slip against Chelsea. After a heartbreaking title loss, Suarez moved to Barcelona, where he was duly rewarded with his fair share of trophies and arguably the best front 3 the world has ever seen. Gianfranco Zola must have been jumping for joy when Chelsea came knocking for his signature in 1996 after a success-laden time at Napoli. Before the Abramovich millions powered Chelsea to 4 league titles, they were pretty much a mid-table team. Having finished a distant 11th place in the last campaign, Chelsea quickly set out revolutionising a side that hadn't won a league title in their history. Not only did the move to Chelsea come with more spotlight and financial buttery, but they were also working on a part-successful project that already had Ruud Gullit in it. What could even go wrong? Well, in fact, everything went extremely well for Gianfranco as he scored 78 goals and handed out a further 27 assists for the North London club. For Chelsea though, things improved only a little as they finished 6th in the season, but never did quite enough to win before the Abramovich millions. In the mid-90s, before the mass exodus of players to the Premier League, foreign players in England were considered somewhat glamorous. A one-time PFA and Football Writers Player of the Year, David Ginola had a fantastic time in the Premier League with Tottenham and Newcastle. Although Ginola can be proud of his time with Spurs and the Magpies, the same can't be said about his time at Aston Villa and Everton. After a blistering start to his Premier League with teams who aren't necessarily perennial winners, Ginola never really stood a chance at winning the Premier League title, to be fair to him. Whereas many of the players on our list have got some sort of trophy compensation for not winning the league, Les Ferdinand, like Ginola, is one painfully unlucky player to have 0 trophies to his name. Athletic and powerful with flawless finishing, Ferdinand was pretty much the dream striker in the early 1990s, having emerged at English first-tier club QPR, where he scored 20 goals in 37 appearances. His career would follow the same goal-scoring trajectory as he scored over 70 goals in the next 4 campaigns, and a further 79 through his career in Bolton, West Ham, Spurs, and Newcastle. In fact, when he hung up his boots in 2005, only 7 players had scored more goals than Les in Premier League's history. Despite his longevity and quality of performances, Les Ferdinand never got a move to the Arsenals and Manchester United, who pretty much dominated the late 90s and early 2000s. As if that wasn't enough, his curse continued to the English national team, where he barely played a handful of matches. Altogether, Ferdinand was a great player on the wrong teams. Widely considered to be one of the greatest forwards of his generation, Robbie Fowler truly was his own man. Not only is he a standout player in Liverpool's history, but the sheer number of goals, 183 he scored in a short time, earned him the nickname God in Anfield. This nickname was earned after he scored a 4-minute hat-trick in a Premier League game against Arsenal. His flawless technique and eye for the goal meant he was dangerous in nearly any position. He was literally a goal-scoring maniac. But while Fowler might have been talented enough to score 163 league goals, his Premier League trophy cabinet somehow remains empty. Moving from Liverpool to Leeds and Manchester City for a while, Robbie Fowler never really got a real run-in for the title. 2 UEFA Cups and 3 League Cups are all the iconic Liverpool forward had to show for his 13-year stint at the top flight and keep him warm at night. While this is probably alright for some players, a player of his calibre certainly deserved a chance at the Premier League trophy. Matt Le Tissier was more than a central midfielder for Southampton. The first midfielder to score more than 100 Premier League goals, and one of the greatest Premier League penalty takers of all time, the Saints worshipped the player religiously. It's not hard to see why. After the Guernsey-born talent rose through the ranks to make over 500 appearances for the club, finishing with an incredible 209 goals, he finished the season with more than 20 league goals on 3 occasions, 2 more times than the great Frank Lampard. Le Tissier was already 24 when he came to the Premier League, but he still finished with 100 goals and 64 assists in 270 appearances in the competition. That's more than 9 assists than Paul Scholes, who played a stupendous 10 more seasons than him, and more goals than Van Nistelrooy and Solskjaer ever managed. While Le Tissier never got his hands on the Premier League trophy, his impact in the South Coast is certainly not without notice. Having not been relegated in 24 years, 3 seasons after he left, Southampton hit the drop, and 4 years after that, they were in League One. Pundits today get a lot of grief on social media for offering though-right opinions despite never playing a part in Premier League winning campaigns. In summary, they were more like passengers. Paul McGrath is none of that, and despite not winning the Premier League title at Villa Park and Manchester United, he is a man they call God. I'm sure you've heard that somewhere. Every club has their icons, but this quiet man transcends even the biggest legends for Aston Villa. A gentle giant wearing a rather quiet demeanour, McGrath's early career was dominated by Dublin-based St Patrick's Athletic Football Club, where he towered above his teammates with his giant stature. His best days came at Manchester United, and when Alex Ferguson transferred to Manchester United, he tried to give McGrath his best support, but all clearly did not go well with McGrath. While McGrath battled with painful injuries and a host of mental issues, Villa provided a safe haven for him to get back on his feet. Despite joining Villa when they were at the peak of their prowess, he couldn't help them to league glory, something that also eluded him during his time at United. McGrath is still revered at both clubs though, as he's also regarded as a Republic of Ireland legend. So, that's our 10 greatest players to never win the Premier League. What do you guys think of our list? Let us know in the comments section below. While you do that, if you're interested in historic transfers, check out the greatest transfer windows in this video. If you want to know why Messi is the greatest free agent of all time, click here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification so you get the first ring once we have a new video. As always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.